Well, it's pretty grim out there. I believe out there is water and land. But in the words of the never-ending story, no, there's only nothing. Fog would be something, but this is nothing. Yeah, I don't really want to go out there today. Well, the fog lifted enough that I could at least see the next marker. So I've started my journey to Troon. And it stopped raining, which is very nice. By the way, this is how you do it, okay? You make your coils, usually neater than that. You get your bit left over at the bone. This little finger here, on my left, holds the line. Holds the line. Look at that. None of this messing around. Holds the line. Unless you drop it like that. Loop goes through the loop that you're holding with enough of a tail to do that with. Push that through there. Can you see that you then pull that tight? That is now your hanging line. Look at that. Brilliant. Lesson learned. Now repeat 3 more times. I was just putting that in the locker. I've had the heater on. The locker's really warm. I think we've probably got a warmer locker than V-berth. But that's just because of the piping isn't insulated. Got a bowline in this line. And take the bowline out. That gives me the opportunity to use either side of the either end of the line. I don't have to think. If I need a line and I need it quick, I've got a good end and I know that there's no knot or anything on the end of it. Which is why I hate loops in lines. Docking lines that already have the loops in. They're just not, they're potentially not safe. That's all I'm saying. You imagine, like, you're in a pickle, you just quickly need a line, and then all of a sudden your line is now stuck on a cleat. That's how it looks. Look at that. And I confess to actually needing help. No, asking for help. Did I need it? I don't know. The reason I don't know if I needed it is because I asked for it and I didn't get myself into a pickle coming off the pontoon. So I was starboard too, as you know, from yesterday's amazing video of me in the fog. And the prop walk that I have on this boat, as soon as I hit a stern, my stern goes off to port and would have gone straight into the very nice boat that was next door. So I had a few lines set up so that I could get off on my own and try and warp the boat off nicely. But as it was, the owner stuck his head up and was getting ready to leave. So I said, would you mind helping me off this dock, please? And he looked at me a bit confused and I said, prop walk left, don't want to damage your boat. And he went, absolutely not, I'll certainly help you. As it was, got off without any issues at all. Well, there is absolutely no wind at the moment. There was earlier, and there is some forecast, and it should be cruising chute weather. But at the moment, I'm afraid it's motor weather, So on comes the noise. Sorry about that. Visibility is restricted. I can see quite far and I'm not that concerned. However, as a professional sailor, I have to take into account the collision regulations. Now, Ketty 2 is less than 12 metres, so I kind of have a bit of a get out in so much of the equipment that I have to have on board. However, collision regulations 33 does state about sound signals. If your vessel is over 12 metres, you have to have a horn. If it's over, is it 20 metres, you have to have a horn and a whistle. And if you're over 100 metres, you need a horn, a whistle, a gong, and another sound signal. I can't actually remember it all. But I do know that if a vessel under 12 metres doesn't have a horn, it needs to have a suitable device that can make a noise so that people can hear. Rule 35 tells us that a power vessel in restricted visibility needs to be able to make a prolonged blast between 4 and 6 seconds every 2 minutes whilst underway in restricted visibility. Now, that doesn't mean that just I'm in restricted visibility. It means that somebody else near me might be in restricted visibility. And if they're coming through fog and I'm not in fog, they still need to know that I'm there. So, what have I got? This is awesome. It's a horn, and you're blowing this hole here. I enjoy giving it to people and asking them to make it make a noise, and they don't see that horn. Nothing happens. Sometimes they go and make that noise down it. Well, that's not good enough for someone to hear. But if you blow down this horn here, that makes a good noise. And I think that was one prolonged blast of between 4 to 6 seconds. I might even count that and put how long it was just here. It's worth knowing your collision regulations. They're free to download. They're very, very verbose. They're very, very wordy indeed. But it does tell you quite a lot about how you should be a really good sailor. So that's today's sailing lecture over. Not delivered very well because I didn't get the wording exact, but I pointed you in the right direction. It's 33 for the type of sound equipment, 35 for what you need to make a sound in restricted visibility, and there's a lot more stuff in there that really we should know by heart. That's beautiful, isn't it? Lush and green. Imagine living there. Well, so here we have a conundrum again. The navman in the middle there was, or is, connected to my chart plotter, which is downstairs. This ONWA system, which is also my AIS. My Navionics is on a separate independent system and is telling me that I'm currently at 95 degrees, so that was in agreement. And my tiller pilot, shall we see what that says it's doing? So there you have it, 93 degrees. Oh, tiller pilot's happy today. I might try and use it to go to waypoint. Move my cursor over there. Move it down a bit because I don't want to hit land. Press tick. Can't see that because I am pressing tick, I promise. And I'm just simply going to save and go to and press go. So this is now sending the data to that. Tiller is currently on automatic and happens to be 93, that's just a coincidence. But if I press these two buttons together, it should go into T mode. and now it is on track. It's telling me it wants to turn a little bit. I'll push them again, and now it's happy. There's legislation that says an autopilot on a boat is not allowed to suddenly just make a turn. The idea behind that is if you're up on the bow and the boat goes, oh, I'm going to make a turn now, and then turns 90 degrees and you're not ready, then you might fall overboard. Which is a good thing. What actually happens is the system should beep to say, I'm nearly at the waypoint, and then somebody has to push the button after having a look around to make sure nobody is on the bow about to fall off when you do a 90-degree turn. So if you do have a Raymarine system, or in fact any nav system, it shouldn't just go dot to dot. You must interact with it. I don't think there's a way around that either. And this is all lifted nicely. I can see quite a long way. So I'm happy at that. Not that there was anything to see. But my AIS is telling me there's a boat out there somewhere. Just miles away. Been sailing along in silence. Well, not total silence. I'm listening to Enya. Thought it would be fitting, being as I'm in the Celtic areas. It's been really beautiful for the last hour or so. Got a bit more visibility. I can see now Campbeltown behind me, Kintyre. But there's been times I couldn't see anything. I was literally just in my own snow globe of nothing. And then out of the mist came another sailing boat. It was past each other, about a mile apart maybe. And carried on our way. Just enjoying the solitude and the beauty, and thanking God for the fact that there is no storms today. There might be rain and there might be mist and there might be fog, but just thanking God that I can do this safely. Yeah, His creation is beautiful.
and eventually I made it to Troon, where I had to reverse into my berth because I was assigned D04, right near the bottom, and thankfully, whilst it looks a little jerky here, it was very smooth.
There she is, she's got a QR code up, but I've noticed I seem to be in the sales yard. There's a nice Westerly Seahawk for sale, there's a Oyster 42 for sale, there's a lovely Crabber for sale, and there's a powerboat for sale. So hopefully the people with money will be popping down here. Maybe they'll donate to that little cause there, as well as hopefully you will. Thank you very much. That was 35 miles. It took me 9 hours in total because I was insisting on sailing for some of it. It did get very boring and I didn't film it because there was nothing happening. The mist lifted, the mist dropped, the wind came up, the wind went down, but I got here. So, where are we? We're in Troon. Important thing happening, which I'll tell you about tomorrow, the return of something important.